Hi guys, I thought today I'd finally share this newest radio to my collection with you. I did do a skip video with it, but I haven't shown you the radio. It's a Xiegu G90. Now I've been corrected on that pronunciation. According to Google, by that spelling it should be pronounced Xiegu, but the manufacturer of this radio actually pronounces it Xiegu. So we're going to go with what the manufacturer said. Very, very cool radio. As you can already see, you see the spectrum display on there, and it's showing activity. It's the highlighted area. It's the channel 38 that I'm on, and it's showing that we have activity on 37, 39, and 40. The waterfall, I don't really see a purpose for the waterfall. I'd actually like to see the spectrum display take up that whole space and get rid of that waterfall. But the waterfall area does have a unique feature that goes with it. If we go over to that key button and hold it down, you see there's all kinds of letters showing up now. If we were on a frequency that they were using Morse code, this radio will decode the Morse code for me, so I can just read what they're tapping in. Let's press then. You gotta long hold it, and then it'll bring the waterfall back. Let's see. For the volume, we have just the volume knob. But the volume knob has two functions. If you press it, see that little icon right there? It's right now a speaker, which meaning the internal speaker on the radio, which I don't recommend using on these radios, because that speaker is just, it's horrible. You hear that? And now you hear that. It does need amplified speakers because it does not have an amplified speaker port. It has a headphone port. So a set of stereo speakers from a computer, which is what I'm using, work perfect with this radio. Let's see. There's tons and tons of menus within this radio. This is I believe they call it a menu knob. And right now I have it set so that it's RF gain is the one that it's controlling. But once you turning it, you bring up the RF gain, then you can press it, and it brings up other features in there, which I have it set to wideband, so that I have a good full sound. Let it sit for a second and it will go back to wherever it was in the beginning. We have a preamp on here, and the preamp also will cut down extra strong signals if you press it twice. Once turns it on, it's now off. So once we'll turn the preamp on, the second one will cut the signals back, and then press it again and shuts it off. We have compression for the microphone. Am I using that? Yeah, I am using that right now. If you see the little icon up there, when I press that, it goes away. And we have the noise blanker, which also is adjustable. I didn't even notice that before. Look at that. The noise blanker is actually adjustable on this thing. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get out of that. Oh, look at that. I'm actually bringing up a menu that I didn't know was there. And now we're back out. Oh, let's see. What else do we have? If we hold the channel knob, which they call this one the main knob, if we push it and hold it down, it'll bring up the RIT. And it's also, I believe... Oh, I guess I'm wrong. I thought this also brought up another menu, but it's not doing it. Actually, what if we press the function button and then hold it down? Nope, still the same. There was another menu that I had gotten into, which I was pretty sure I had pressed that one to get to. Oh, there it is. Alright, I was pressing the wrong one. Now we go to the main knob and scroll through all the different options that are hiding within this menu. back to squelch level. Now, let's see. How do we get back out of it? Oh, just like that. Look at that. On this side, actually, let's get rid of that. The function button enables the secondary set of controls for the buttons and evidently the knob, too. We're gonna... Oh, it was already off. Oh, I'm getting a reflection. From my point of view, actually, yours, too. It looks like it's lit up. Now it's lit up. Alright, it's actually in the normal position. This one here is for the VFOs. This radio has 2 VFOs in it, so I can split frequencies, or I can have it set to 2 frequencies that I use a lot, and then just press the AB button, and now you see VFO-B is on the top. Now VFO-A is on the top. On this side, we have the tuner. This radio has a built-in antenna tuner in it, and it really does well. If you press the button once, it turns the tuner on or off. Oh, sorry, I bumped you. I press it again. You see the little tune light comes on up there. I'm going to shut that off for now, though. I don't need the antenna tuner. I'll show you why in a second. The next button down is... Oh, actually, before we get to that, turning the tuner on and off doesn't do you any good until... Let's go on a different channel. There we go. One without any activity. Press and hold it, and it just tuned the antenna. So now it should have a really good match on it now. But let's shut that off, because now I'm going to show you the power button. And the power button has 2 functions. If we press it, just quick press, it gives us the output power of the radio. So I can adjust the output power. I'm running this radio through a 2-pill amplifier, and the amplifier seems to love this radio set on the 20-watt scale. So that's where I leave that. Press it lightly again, and it goes back. Well, actually, it goes to the SWR threshold. The SWR threshold on this radio is adjustable. You can set it to where you want. I currently have this thing set at 1.8, so if the SWR should go above 1.8, the radio won't transmit. It'll protect itself. Alright, let's get back out of that. Now that power button, if I hold it down, it's going to bring up a basic antenna analyzer. Look at that. The antenna tuner is currently off, and look at the match that I have on that beam. This is on my 2-element vertical Yagi. As you can see, the radio is broadcasting right now, so it's checking that tune. To get out of that, as you can see the yellow line way down there? It's a damn flat match on that antenna. We press that button and it brings it back out of there. The key button is also a multi-function button. It has different options that you can change. I don't know what was that one? Speed of what? I'm not really sure what that is. I thought I had read everything in this manual, and I've already forgot a lot of it. We'll have to go back to the manual at some point and figure out what that is. If we long hold it, it brings up the Morse code decoder. So it'll decode Morse code signals for me. Long hold it again, and it goes back to the waterfall. Long hold the lock button, and you see the little lock icon shows up. And now we can't do anything. Nothing will change. Long hold it again, the lock goes away. Now if we short press this lock button, just momentary press, it changes the display brightness. I was worried that we weren't going to be able to see it on the camera, but we definitely can. There's the dimmest, there's the brightest. As we also see, it's an SDR radio. It's a software-defined radio. So this is a software-based radio, which is a really cool thing. The very first version of this radio did not have microphone and RF gain adjustments. They were just maxed out, both of them. The company ended up creating a new software set for this that you can just download and install right into this, connecting the radio to a computer, and install the latest version. With the latest version, you have the RF gain and the mic gain controls now. So software-defined radio is a really cool thing, because as they come out with improvements for the latest ones, we get them for the ones that we already purchased. From what I understand, that first generation of this radio, if you just install the latest software, it makes the extra functions that they've added, makes it work with the radio. This one currently has the latest software version installed in it, so I don't need to connect this to a computer because it's already done. Let's see, what else do we have on here that we have not covered yet? Let's talk about the sound output. The sound... Actually, did I cover that already? I may have actually covered that already. I forget. Let me just say it real quick. The port for external sound is a headphone jack, and you need amplified speakers in order to use this radio. The onboard speaker is just, it's not very good. I recommend at least a halfway decent pair of like computer speakers work just fine for this thing. On the side here is also the port to connect this to the computer. And on the other side, we have the microphone jack. Now that we've covered most of the features of this radio, let me talk about modifying this. Because as you probably already know, I'm sure you're familiar with the HF radios. From the factory, they don't cover the CB band. But you notice that radio is on channel 36 right now. The top of this radio, which actually I also forgot again, there's more controls up here. Let me shut that light off on this thing so that we're not overbearing. I have to have the light on the camera so that it would focus on that screen. Up on the top we have mode buttons, which switches it from AM to sideband to FM. And we also have the band button, which goes through all the frequencies of this radio. There are 6 screws around that top cover. Remove those 6 screws, and almost directly underneath that screw is a diode that has to be removed in order for this thing to work on the CB band. It's simple. They put a big white arrow pointing right to that diode. So all you really need to do is just unsolder one leg of the diode, and boop, it's a nice high-tech CB radio. Now, I don't have my ham license, so that's all I'm going to be using this radio for, is just for CB use. It's a Xiegu G90 HF transceiver. They made a few mistakes with this thing. One of which kind of bugged me at first, there's no mounting holes on this radio. There's no place to add a mounting bracket or anything in order to lift it up. They do offer a stand that has a fan on it that goes underneath, and it has 2 legs to put it up at an angle like I have this one. I don't really see the need for the fan. The bottom of this radio is room temperature. The top is warm. The top is actually getting a little hot. I've had it on for several hours. The top gets hot, the bottom stays cool. But yet they made a fan for the bottom, not for the top. Go figure. I think it was just to try and increase the interest in that stand. Ooh, if we put a cooling fan on it, we'll sell 1 million of them. Well, I'm not going to buy it. I took my speakers, I drilled a hole in the side of each speaker, put in a piece of threaded rod, and put in some padding on top of that threaded rod to protect the bottom of the radio, and a little bit of double-sided tape. And it keeps that radio right in place, holds it nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. The factory, one more thing that I discovered searching online for info on this radio. There is a replacement front panel for this radio. Because this radio, this front panel, which is only about that thick, it only goes back to about there, just behind those top buttons. This is removable. It comes with a cord. It looks like an old serial port cord for an old computer, so that you can connect one end of that cord to this faceplate, one end to the unit itself, and then remotely mount the face. And remember, everything connects at the faceplate except for the antenna. And there's some computer connections back there. So you can have all the stuff that you really need: the headphone port, the quick connect for the computer, the microphone jack, and all the controls in just a small little unit. And then you can mount the main box elsewhere. But the replacement unit that they have for this, the screen on the replacement unit is bigger than the entire face of this radio. So even though the radio only comes with a 1.8 screen, the screen that's on that replacement, it looks to be probably about 2.5 to 3 inches tall and 5 to 6 inches wide. The downfall of that other faceplate, it's $420 just for the front of the radio. Now keep in mind, this whole radio is currently $435 on Amazon. Are you really going to end up putting over $800 into this radio? I mean, it's a nice radio, but I wouldn't do it. I just live with the little screen, put on a pair of reading glasses, and it's fine. The screen is actually way better than it looks in the camera. I have to have the backlighting on this camera in order for it to focus on that screen. Let me show you. See, as soon as I shut the light off, the screen gets blurry. The screen is actually really nice, and even my old eyes don't really have a problem seeing any of it. We'll turn that light back on so it focuses and gets it nice and clear for us. I love the spectrum analyzer. You can see activity on the other channels. Of course, as soon as we get there, they're gone. Really faint signal there. Oh, we see some big stuff coming in. On channel 40. Yeah, you get the idea. It's a nice radio. I am happy and proud to have this in my collection. This was a gift to me. It was a surprise. I didn't even know I was getting it. I did a favor for a friend, and in return, he gave me this radio. Gary, I thank you so much. I have been having a ball with this radio. It's a fantastic little unit. Everybody on the air tells me that this thing sounds fantastic. I also forgot, I'm going to shut off that light, and it's going to put the radio out of focus, but it's because I want to bring the microphone into shot. And I shut off the light so that I could show you all of that. Isn't that just a cool microphone? It is loaded with all kinds of things. Any button will light up all the buttons. I just pressed that one because the XFC doesn't seem to do anything. I haven't read in the manual yet what that's for. I read the entire manual, but I don't remember everything that was in there. Again, this radio has so many things going on it. The manual, I believe, is, well, it's actually sitting right there, 36 pages long. There's a lot of information in there. But you can, if you press this button, you see the frequency went away over there. Now you can enter into the keypad the exact frequency that you want. My camera's having trouble focusing on that. We're going to shut that back off, and if you notice in the background, the frequency showed back up again. It has a couple of programmable buttons. It also, let me get off the channel that has people talking to show you this feature. When you key up the microphone, the green light changes to red. Ooh. Goes to transmit mode. It has two of them. It also has it over there on the radio. Alright, that's the Xiegu G90. Great little radio. If you're looking for entry-level HF transceiver, a great choice. I am absolutely loving this little radio. It has so many nice built-in features. It sounds great on the air. Receive is really, really good. I just hit you again. Sorry about that. I hope I didn't knock you off your feet. Let's see if we can go back to a channel that has people on it. It's a good quality receiver on this. Like I said, you really want to put some external speakers because the one on it really isn't that good. It needs help. It's a tiny little speaker up there. That's a tiny little radio. The radio only measures 5 inches wide. It is 10 inches deep, but it's only 5 inches wide. It's a little one. And what is that? About 2 inches tall? Let's see what the tape measure says. And the tape measure says just under. Well, with the buttons, 2 inches tall. Great little radio. If you're thinking about it and you don't want to spend the money for the really expensive, like the ICOMs and the Yaesus, all of those radios, they have all these same features and more, but they're way out of it, most people's budget. This one's a great beginner radio. It's just another one of those radios that's kind of pushing me along to get a ham radio license, because it's just, I can go so many places now with the radios that I have. It's another one that's really making me think about doing it. Alright, I guess that's it for now. I think I covered just about every aspect of this radio that I could think of. I know there's more things. There will be updates coming out in the future for this radio that will make changes to it. And it's just, again, it's a never-ending change on this radio. There'll be software upgrades forever for it. Well, hopefully forever, as long as the company stays in business. Speaking of the company, the parent company is Xiegu. What are they? Bridgecom Systems. I believe they're the same company that make the Anytone radios, which is why some of the features are similar between this radio and the Anytone. Like the channel select knob. You can move it to any one of those 5 digits to change frequency. If you wanted to go all the way to the bottom, actually, let me turn that light back on so you can see that. And my hand is making it focus weird, but you can adjust even that last character on the frequency. Now I think I've covered everything that I can remember. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I'm forgetting, but it's a fun radio. I've been having a lot of fun with this radio. If you don't want the display on, the radio can still be on, but the display is off. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but you have the option. Alright guys, I thank you for watching. If you're thinking about an HF transceiver and you don't want to break the bank, it's a great choice. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.